What we're going to be talking about right now is how to be here right now, because a lot of us are projecting ourselves into the future, projecting ourselves into the past, and we're doing this without even realizing it. We don't have to be stuck in our heads all the time. And so what I'm going to be talking about in this video is how to be here right now and what this means for your life and how your life will drastically change if you apply what it is that I'm talking about. Because the way most of us are living our lives right now is being trapped in the head. We're being absorbed almost by all this thinking that's going on in our heads, where we continually project ourselves into the future and into the past. And as we do this unconsciously, this may be creating a lot of anxiety, fear, and worry in our bodies and in our feelings that we don't have to be dealing with this. It doesn't have to be this way. We don't need to be trapped into thinking without realizing it. We can make a choice to be here right now and be present to the moment, because being present to the moment cannot be understood through the past and the future thinking and through the thinking of the mind. And being present to the moment is something that you have to access through being. So when I'm recording this video right now, I'm extremely connected to the moment and I'm not really thinking as much. And so what this means is that I'm very connected to being here right now. And a lot of people can get into this state of being here right now when they're doing certain flow state activities, like recording a video, or for some people it might be some kind of an art. And so regardless of what you do, regardless of the role that you play in life, being here right now is really, really going to benefit you. Whether you're a business owner, whether you're an artist of some kind, whether you work a 9-to-5 job, whatever it is that you're doing, being here right now is going to increase your efficiency and your enjoyment and your joy with whatever it is that you're doing. Because a lot of the times, being stuck in the thinking mind can actually take you away from the joy and the beauty of the moment. And there's always this beauty and there's this aliveness and there's this depth to the moment that cannot be, you can't be aware of this and you can't really see it unless you become conscious of it. And the thing is that it's always there in the background. We just might not be conscious of it because of the thinking that is going on in our heads unconsciously. And so the thinking is okay. It's not like we shouldn't be thinking, because thinking is a very useful tool. But the problem is when we're compulsively attached to that thinking in the background without even realizing it. And when I started to become more present to the moment and I started meditating 3 years ago every single day, what I started to find is that I don't need to live my life in this way. I don't need to be attached to my thinking. I can choose to live in the present moment. I was able to find glimpses of presence in my life. And then I realized that it's not just glimpses, but I can actually sustain this level of awareness where I can stay very present to the moment and just not feel worried, not feel angry most of my day. And when this started happening to me, I started to get worried, thinking that it's going to go away and that I'm going to have issues, and I'm not going to be able to sustain this. And what I found is that most of the day, I'm actually able to sustain being very present to the moment with little to no fear. And sometimes the thoughts do come. It's not about completely removing the thoughts. It's about removing the compulsive thinking that is going on in our heads without us realizing it. And then once you just deal with that, you learn how to clear the mind and enter the moment. Now you can use thinking as a tool, because thinking and the mind and the logical part of us is a very, very useful tool that we can use in life. But the thing is, are you using it as a tool, or is it using you? Okay, that's a great quote that I found from Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. And it doesn't need to be this way. A lot of people, the mind is using them because they're unconscious of the thinking in their heads. And so the mind is almost it's almost like this external force that is controlling you without you realizing it. Some people call this the ego. Eckhart Tolle calls that the ego. He says that the ego is the unconscious thought patterns. And I don't like to use the word ego. And if I do, I explain that some people call it the ego because it's just a word and it's a symbol to explain what it means to have unconscious thinking in the background and being sucked in, thinking that's who you are, when really it's nothing more than thoughts in your head. But because you're unconscious of them, you're sucked in. And this whole process of being absorbed in your thinking without realizing it is creating most, if not all, of the anxiety, fear, and worry in our life. And so when you can choose to step out of this thinking, what's going to happen is you might feel a pull to go back. So the key is not just to step out. One way to do this would be to become aware of your breathing, or that's just how you do it for 2 seconds, right? But then it's not just about stepping out. It's about sustaining that in your everyday life. Being able to be here right now with everything that you do. Because once again, people get to this state through certain flow state activities. Like for me, it's recording a video, when I'm beatboxing, sometimes when I'm in a deep conversation with somebody on the phone or even in real life. I get extremely present to the moment, and then I get into this flow state where I'm not necessarily thinking. I'm just very here right now, because most people don't really understand what it means to be here right now. They just kind of say, okay, be present to the moment, be here now. And it's a very cliche term in society. People don't understand that there are tools to help you become more present to the moment every single day. And so what I wanted to tell you in this video is that you don't need to live your life in that place of the ego, which is just a symbol to represent unconscious thinking that you are sucked into. You're absorbed into that thinking, and you're going to be taking a lot of actions from anxiety, fear, and worry. And it doesn't have to be this way. You can actually learn to go into the present moment and then sustain that for most of your day, because some of you might be meditating every single day, but then the problem is that, are you able to sustain that level of presence in your daily life? That is the real question. And if you're not meditating, then you should start a meditation habit, and then understand that as you start to do this, it's not just about the meditation and learning how to clear your mind. That's easy. It's really easy to learn how to clear your mind in meditation in 15, 20 minutes. It's not hard at all. But then can you sustain that in your daily life, and then also sustain the habit? That is the real question, because if you can do meditation, but then you can't take that into your daily life and live from that calm and peaceful place, then what is even the point? I think the whole point of all of this is to be here right now in your daily life, feel that peace, feel that calmness, and then live your life from that place. Take action from that place. Choose the businesses, choose the relationships that you want. Make decisions from a place of being calm and grounded, not through being fearful about everything. Because if you're making decisions from fear, from that ego, which is just a word, then a lot of the decisions that you're going to make are not going to be truly in line with what it is that you actually want to get in life. Because you got to make a decision from, it's okay to have fear, but it's not okay to let that fear drive you and make your decisions, you know? We all have fear, but I don't think it's a good thing to let that fear control you, and not only control you, but unconsciously control you. That's the biggest thing with all of this, is that we have all these unconscious thought forms, all this fear, all these worries, maybe even pain from the past. And the worst thing is that not only is it there in the background unconsciously, but we may be completely, totally unaware that it's there. Totally unaware. So unconscious, meaning that not only is the pain there, but you are completely unconscious of it. And so the key here is to be here right now, become conscious of that pain, become conscious of those patterns, and then now you can begin to let it go. And then in the awareness of that pain, of those unconscious thought patterns, of that fear, you'll begin to let it go and go deeper and deeper into the present moment until your whole life completely shifts, just like mine did when I started meditating every single day 3 years ago. So it doesn't have to be this way. We don't need to live in fear. We don't need to live in anxiety. We can choose to step into the present moment and finally live in peace. Okay, check out the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Really, really good book. That's all I have for you today. If you like this kind of content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. Check out the description below if you want to apply for a free consultation. Have yourself a great day, and see you in the next video.